And joining us right now as we go out to the Corky's hotline, he is Mark Martinez. He is the head baseball coach down at San Diego State. The Aztecs offense, how about this? Am I reading this right? 36 runs in the last 2 games, Coach. I mean, I'm not the greatest at math, but if you add 20 and 16, I come up with 36.
That is correct. We kind of caught fire on Friday and Saturday, and wish we had those bats on Thursday night out at Las Vegas. We just kind of fell quiet that night and lost 6-3. But we finished up the weekend 2 out of 3 with some pretty good offense. It was pretty good last couple of days.
Yeah, Coach, how's the season going? You guys are bouncing back nicely. It seems like the season's going well. I don't know if you're meeting your expectations thus far, but in the middle of what is a 7-game road trip, it seems like things are going pretty well for you guys.
Well, I think there's a lot of great things that kind of point to. Number one, we haven't lost the series all season, which is kind of a good thing. Obviously, when you win more than you lose, it's a good thing. Our record overall is 26-11. Our conference record is 13-5, and we still have basically 5 weeks left in the season, and kind of coming down the stretch, we're going to be in position to hopefully win the regular season and host the conference championship at the end of May.
Obviously, it's easy to ask this question after you score 36 runs in 2 games, but that aside, the offense, it seems, is it what you expected this year?
Well, we kind of felt like we were going to be better than we were last year. We just have a more experienced lineup, really 1 through 9, with a lot of kids that don't play every single day but are contributing, and so, kind of our first 6 guys in our lineup, it's pretty much you can print that every game, and then kind of 7 through 9 has been kind of a revolving door between the DH, the catcher spot, and somewhat in right field. But actually, David Hensley, junior outfielder that's been hitting 9-hole for us and playing right field, was just named the Mountain West Player of the Week based on kind of what he did over the last 4 games, and he kind of caught fire this weekend and really had a great weekend and great week for us, and kind of boosted our offense a little bit. So it was really nice to see, and so proud of what he's done, up to this point as well.
Talking with Mark Martinez here on San Diego Sports Leader, the Mighty 1090. Martinez is the head baseball coach down at San Diego State. Coach, only a month left in the season. I'm sure it flies by for you as well, but as I look at the schedule the rest of the way, you guys are on the road a majority of the time. You will finish the season with 4 games at home, and before that, you do have a home series with New Mexico. That's going to be at the end of this month. The Lobos will be here at San Diego for a couple games, and other than that, you guys are mostly on the road. With a month to go and the way that the season has gone so far, what do you want to see from your team for the next 30 days?
Well, and again, it's kind of like the basketball tournament. It's kind of like how you finish, and really your last, 15, 18 games are so critical as you're looking at large, opportunities. But really, honestly, Jordan, unless we kind of run the table, which, as you know, in baseball is exceptionally hard to do, we have to, position ourselves for the conference tournament, which is a 4-team tournament, 4-team format this year. So not all the teams make the tournament, and hopefully be in position to win that. But right now, 26-11 is nothing to sneeze at. We've had some really marquee wins throughout the season at Long Beach. We beat Long Beach twice. He's ranked in the top 25. We beat Fullerton earlier in the year at Fullerton. Is the first time that San Diego State has gone up to beat Fullerton since 1977, so that's kind of a nice feather in the cap. And we beat UCLA up at Lake Elsinore a couple weeks ago. So we do have some marquee wins on there, and our conference is, you kind of pointed out, it's tough to play on the road in our conference. It's I think I can just kind of allude to our last 3 games at Las Vegas. It's a tough place to play. Thursday night, what's odd about our series is that Thursday night over in Las Vegas, the wind was blowing about 30 miles an hour directly dead red center field, and we could only score 3 runs. And, the next 2 days there's no wind, and we put up 20 and 16 respectively on Friday and Saturday. So, the game's a crazy game, and you never know who you're going to run into on the weekend. And so, the last 4 weekends for us in conference are going to be challenging. We play New Mexico, who's leading our conference, and then we have to go to San Jose, and we have to go to Air Force, and we finish up with a very good Fresno State team here to end the regular season. But prior to that, we're going up to UC Santa Barbara this weekend. He was in the College World Series last year, so it's going to be a nice test for us. We go to Riverside tomorrow and go up to UC Riverside Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it'll be a good barometer kind of where we are at this point of the season and hopefully down the stretch.
Coach, this is an interesting time of the year for you because obviously you know at this point the strengths and weaknesses of your team. What would you say is kind of the Achilles heel of your team that you're trying to either fix or find ways around before this final stretch run?
I think, honestly, it's kind of more of it's not really a tangible thing. It's more of an intangible. It's more, our kids really dealing with, having some success on the diamond and not, relaxing mentally, and kind of, when you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-old guys and they experience some success, you want to try and keep the motor at a steady pace and not ride a roller coaster. And that's kind of where we've faltered a little bit is that, we've won a lot of games, 26-11. But I think where we've kind of stumbled is that we get a little comfortable with where we are. And that's where the letdowns come. And that's just part of kind of growing up and learning how to deal with, success as well as you still have to deal with, your failures. But, I've found this year is that we got to kind of, I guess, push the gas a little harder, once we're experiencing success rather than pump the brakes. And so that's kind of what we're learning as a coaching staff when I'm learning about my coaching style and trying to make sure that, we can't kind of let up on the gas. We got to continue to go. And it's so important down the stretch. We have some, important series coming up, with Santa Barbara, New Mexico. We go to UCLA. We play San Jose State at Air Force. And again, I talked about Fresno State at the end of the year. So hopefully we can kind of string together some wins and not get too comfortable and kind of have a nice kick down the stretch. But, really there's nothing important to point to. We really pitched very well. We're leading the conference in pitching. We're leading the conference in fielding. We're first in the country in turning double plays. I think we're something like 12th in the country in batting average. And, so we're having a pretty good year statistically. We just need to string a little bit more of those wins together back to back over the course of the next few weeks.
Talking with Mark Martinez, the head baseball coach down at San Diego State. Coach, last question for me. Now that you guys have played nearly 40 games this season, what would you say the personality of this team is?
Well, and it's kind of funny that I'm glad you asked me that. But, I think what we've kind of hung our hat on is dealing with some of those falters, where we have made some mistakes and we've really given away eight games. But really our personality has been we've been able to bounce back. And I think that really speaks volumes to, their toughness is that that's one thing that we've kind of preached all year long and really from the fall through, the spring preseason and into the conference is that we have to be able to out-tough our opponent. And even though we've had falters, faltered a little bit, at times, the one thing that I'm so proud of is that we've bounced back. And, we're going basically 3-1 just about every single week, on a Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday week. And we did that last week. So we want to continue to win more than we lose, but we do need to string together more to kind of make, our program attractive to an at-large opportunity if it does arise down, in late May, early June.
Coach, I want to give you a chance here to possibly help promote some of your star players and maybe get a few more people in the seats when the Aztecs are at home. Which players on your team do you think have real pro potential, of maybe heard or seen some scouts looking at so far this year?
Well, I think I'd start with, Tyler Atkinson, who's one of the leaders in the country in batting average. He has 10 home runs. He's just had a wonderful year. He's played left field for us. He's bounced back from a major injury a couple of years ago. He got hit in the face with a fastball and kind of had to have his face rebuilt a little bit, and that's a really hard thing to come back from, especially as a hitter. But he's sitting almost 400 with 10 home runs, which is leading the conference, and 35 RBIs. I think he's a guy that has a big power potential, and hopefully can translate into the professional side of it. Another young man that's having a fine year for us, Alan Trejo, who's our second baseman. He's also our second baseman. He also pitches out of the bullpen as kind of like a setup guy. And, he's a guy that's really been, scouted very heavily, especially on the mound, and he's going to have a great opportunity. And we have a couple of pitchers, Brett Seaberger, who leads our conference in wins. He's 7-1. Dominic Perpura is 6-0. And then our closer, C.J. Saylor, he has 9 saves, which I believe is somewhere in the top 10 in the country. He's been up to, 93, 95 miles an hour, and so he's really done a great job for us, saving some games and finishing a lot of games. So it's really nice to kind of shorten the game, so to speak, where every time we go out, we feel we have to play, 8 innings with a guy like that in the bullpen. And all of those guys are going to have an opportunity, after this year. And truth be told, you never know who's going to pop up, down the stretch. We have a couple seniors that are playing very well that are going to probably get very attractive to some professional scouts as they continue through, having some really good years. And Danny Sheehan and Andy Brown, David Hensley's a junior that just was named Mountain West Player of the Week. So we've got a lot of guys that, professionally you're going to see it, down the road, and you never know what happens once they get into minor league baseball. You never know who's going to break through. So.
Well, the Aztecs are on the road the rest of the week. A game tomorrow at UC Riverside. They're going to be at UC Santa Barbara this weekend, but then a week from tomorrow night, they will host UC Riverside at Tony Gwynn Stadium, and then next weekend, New Mexico is in town. So if you do want to make your way out to Tony Gwynn Stadium next weekend, a great opportunity to do so. Coach Martinez, thank you so much for making time for us tonight.
Well, thank you for making time for me, and I appreciate everything you guys do for us, and thanks for having me on this evening.